Hello, this is David J. Stubbs, and this comes from my book called Raised in Both Worlds at davidjstubbs.com. Today, I thought it'd be appropriate to talk about spirits and things on behalf of Memorial Day. Uh, I want to tell this to the people who say, I'm not African, I'm American. I'm not African, I'm American. You know, I didn't know I was African either until a couple of times I had near death. The first one was in Cat Island, Bahamas, where I was out in the ocean during a severe storm, and the angel stopped that storm, and we wasn't wet or anything, not for a minute. When the angel stopped the storm, we all know something wrong because after our grandmom did the prayer, and she said, Stubbs, which is my daddy, we completely dry. He said, let's get home before the rain come back, right? Now, we all were soaking wet. We were in the middle of one of the worst storms I ever seen in Cat Island, right? And when we got home, it started raining again. It turned dark in seconds. In seconds. But it's a good story. It's called When the Spirit Stopped the Storm. And some of it when the angel stopped the storm. And good story. But that night, me and my brother was sitting on the porch. We surrounded, it looked like by thousands and thousands and thousands of black spirits. And they were singing old slavery songs. Me and my brother screamed, and my grandma and dad come out, and they were speechless. They couldn't believe what they were seeing and hearing. And by then, the Bahamas had lights on Cat Island, no electricity. And you could see thousands and thousands and thousands of spirits dancing and singing. That was my granddad said, and he hardly talked. He said, one of these boys got an important calling. Let's pray. That's why the angel stopped the storm, because one of these boys are well protected. And we all prayed, and they let us sleep with the spirits that night outside, me and my brother. The second time I died, I was in claim court. I was found guilty of 75 violation of the white man. And I'm probably the only person who was found guilty. Remind you, other people be found guilty of one charge. I was found guilty of 75. But all the claimants said, in their own way, the N word. That's the only N we done seen walk out of claim court. And he got 75 guilty charges. What the hell going on? Is he over us now? How is it possible he walking out of court with guilty charges? What going on? What going on? It was thousands of them. And they all were puzzled. Even I was puzzled. But before we got there, before I walked out of claim court, when I was having trial, I was going back and forth to Africa in 2 or 3 different dimensions. One dimension, you can just see their head, their eyes, and their teeth. And they wasn't, at first you couldn't see the teeth, just the eyes. But after I worked out a deal with the claim, before we're over with, you can see their teeth too. They all were smiling. And they were saying, don't worry, it will be over soon. And these were millions of ancestors. I know who they was. And then the other ring I was in, it was a physical ring, Just like y'all see me now, the people were just like it is now. I was in Africa. And they say, welcome home. You're okay now. This way you will be coming to when it's all over. And they showed me to my hut. The temperature was perfect. The jungle was amazing. I mean, it was beautiful. And I was happy because I had in my head, man, I'm going to farm, I'm going to fish, I'm going to do this, I'm going to relate, I'm going to have the most beautiful garden in heaven. But I know I was between Ghana and Nigeria, wherever that was. And everybody was dancing, singing, saying, it will be over soon, don't worry. This is your home. This is your home, baby. This is your home. And then, boom, next thing I know, I worked out a deal with the claim. Blood contract, you got to cut yourself and put it over the fire. I agreed to be the property of the Ku Klux Klan of America. Fight division. Meaning I got to fight anyone, any place, anytime they put in front of me. Refusal to fight within them 3 years will result in my immediate death, no matter what the excuse was. That's the deal I made. But when I went back to the dorm, I'm sitting on the bed trying to soak it all in. You know, I'm sitting on the bed, and I seen a vision of me being walked in front of dead, me holding the hand of a beautiful woman, but I only could see her back. Her back, but I could see my face. I was looking in the 3D. You know, you're looking at the whole thing like looking at TV, and I know that was me. And I rose from the dead, right? And I'm sitting in my dorm room on the bed, and my angel popped up in front of me. And she looked sad. And I say, was I dead again? She said, and so I know my original. Because they said this where it all began. So I know I'm African. But don't worry. The people who say, I'm not African, you know, they won't be punished or nothing. You know what I mean? But let me tell you, we all been studied. Millions and millions of ancestors is seeing how we handle more freedom than they had. We are judged 24 hours a day to just see what we doing with our freedom and how we handle it, and do we appreciate it. Because I'm going to tell you, dog, whenever you say, I'm not African, I'm American. I ain't no ancestor yet. I done died a few times, but that got to hurt them people. That got to hurt them people, man. Because this whole thing is a test. I'm going to tell you, I went back to Africa and they all worshiped me like I was a god. Because of what I did. You know, with the claims, they say, you did great, Davey. You did remarkable, great. Don't worry. And then before war, they were saying I was the one. And I never found out I was the one what until 10 years later when the president called me. You know, I found out what. He said I closed the book on slavery and black history. But that got to hurt them people. Like when they hear a black person say, don't vote! Don't vote, black people. Do you know how many people died 200 and 300 years ago for us to be able to vote? People died in the 60s for us to be able to vote. And it got to hurt them people. Because they looking at it, and they're looking at black guys saying, Don't vote like people don't vote. Don't vote like people don't vote. You know, so think about when you say, I'm not from Africa. We were here already. I don't give a damn where you were. Check your blood, cuz. Check your blood. The DNA will tell you where you're from. Thank you, and God bless.